Málaga Radio.
Freshly squeezed.
The juice on all the daily events along the coast.
With just a little bit of zest.
You're listening to Málaga Radio, and this is the Weekly Diary. I'm Carmen.
And I'm Baptiste. And each week, we take everything happening across the Costa del Sol and help you work out what's actually worth your time.
Because there's always a lot going on, but not everything fits everyone.
Exactly. So this is about helping you decide what works for you this week, whether you want something cultural, something active, or just somewhere good to spend your day.
And this week, everything changes.
Yes, because it's Semana Santa, Holy Week. And if you're here right now or arriving soon, you'll feel it immediately.
The city becomes something completely different. The streets, the music, the processions, it's everywhere.
And what makes it interesting is how it changes. Depending on where you are, Malaga city is big, dramatic, very visual, and then the villages feel much more personal, more connected to the people taking part.
And that's what we're going to guide you through.
Yes, not just what it is, but how to experience it and how to balance it with everything else happening this week.
Because it's not only Semana Santa.
No, and that's the key. At the same time, the coast is waking up, beach clubs are opening, outdoor plans start to make sense again, and you can move between both worlds in the same day.
And alongside this episode, every morning on Freshly Squeezed, we'll walk you through the processions day by day.
So you can follow what's happening in real time and adjust your plans as the week unfolds.
And if you want to understand the meaning behind everything you're seeing,
then search for our Semana Santa Special. That's where we go deeper into the traditions, the details, and what it all represents.
This episode is about helping you move through the week
and making sure you get the most out of it.
So wherever you are, let's get into it.
Málaga Radio.
Because the first thing you'll notice this week, before anything else, is the atmosphere in the streets. And once you see it, everything starts to make sense.
You don't really arrive into Málaga this week. You sort of walk into something that's already happening.
Yeah, and it's not just one street or one moment. It's like the whole city is moving slowly in one direction.
And then you hear it, the drums, not loud at first, just echoing through the buildings. And suddenly, everything changes.
Right, and people properly stop. Like whatever they were doing just doesn't matter anymore.
And you don't even know what you're waiting for yet. You just feel it. Something is coming.
And then it turns the corner.
And it's huge.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Photos don't prepare you for it. The scale of those tronos, the way they move, it's not smooth. It sways like it's alive.
Because it is, in a way, it's carried by people, hundreds of them, shoulder to shoulder, for hours.
And you realize pretty quickly, this isn't a show. This isn't something put on for visitors.
No, these are families. These are neighbors, teenagers, grandparents. Everyone has a place in it.
Exactly. And if you're seeing it for the first time, it can feel a bit overwhelming, I think.
It does, because you don't understand what you're looking at yet. The robes, the silence, the music, it feels almost surreal.
Right, and that's actually why we made that Semana Santa Special bike.
Because once you understand it, everything changes.
Yeah, suddenly it's not mysterious anymore. It's meaningful.
You start noticing the details, the way the candles drip, the children collecting the wax, building those little wax balls in their hands.
And the food as well, because you'll see it everywhere. People eating torrijas, little sweet stops between following the processions.
It's part of it. The whole week has its own rhythm, its own flavor.
So if you're here this week or even planning to come, just search Semana Santa Special on Málaga Radio or Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
It will help you see what everyone else is seeing.
Because once you've got that, you can start choosing how you want to experience a dish.
Yes, because every day feels different.
Exactly, right? Monday feels one way. Thursday is something else completely.
Thursday, when the Legion arrives.
Yeah, that's a moment. You feel the energy shift completely. The singing, the marching, it's intense.
And then Friday, everything slows down again. It becomes quieter, heavier, more reflective.
And that's the thing. It's not one experience. It's a whole spectrum. And you kind of move through it depending on how you feel.
Sometimes you follow the crowd. Sometimes you step away. Find a smaller street. Watch it pass quietly.
Or you go out in the morning instead before everything builds.
Yes, the mornings are beautiful. You can go into the churches, see everything up close before it all begins.
And then by the afternoon, the city just properly fills.
And you realize you're not just watching it anymore. You're part of it.
And that's probably the most important thing this week.
You don't need a plan. You just need to let it happen.
Right. But at the same time, you don't have to stay in it all day either.
No, because there's a a whole other side to this week as well.
Exactly. I mean, that's where it gets interesting. So let's step slightly away from the main roots and look at how this week is playing out across the region, because the traditions don't stop in the city. They just change shape.
And that's the thing. Once you step just slightly outside the city, everything becomes a little more personal.
Yeah, smaller streets, fewer people, but somehow it feels even more intense.
Because you're closer. You're not behind barriers. You're right there, almost part of it.
And you notice different things. The sounds change. It's not always big bands. Sometimes it's just footsteps or someone singing from a balcony.
The citas, they just appear out of nowhere and everything stops.
Yeah, and that silence, it hits differently when you're in a small place.
Marbella is a perfect example of that.
Right, because people think Marbella and they think beach clubs, but the old town this week is something else.
The streets are so narrow and the buildings are white and the candles reflect everywhere. It feels almost like time slows down.
And you can actually move, which is a big advantage.
Yes, you're not fighting for space. You can follow a procession, turn a corner, and suddenly you're right beside it.
And that's probably the key difference. In Malaga City, you watch it. In Marbella, you walk with it.
And then, if you go a bit further inland, it becomes something completely different again.
Yeah, because this is where it stops being a procession and becomes theater.
Rio Gordo.
Exactly, Mardor.
This is incredible. It's not just people walking through streets. It's a full performance. Hundreds of people.
Yeah, over 500 locals, whole village involved, and it's staged outside like a natural amphitheater.
And you sit there watching the whole story unfold from beginning to end.
Which actually makes it easier to understand compared to the city where everything is more fragmented.
It's emotional in a different way, quieter, more focused.
And longer as well. You're there for an hour, but it doesn't feel long because it pulls you in.
And then there's Alharin El Grande.
And that one's interesting because it's spread across the town.
Yes, different squares, different scenes. It's like the whole town becomes a stage.
And there's that rivalry as well, which adds something.
Yes, the brotherhoods, trying to do it better every year.
But in a good way, like it pushes everything up. The detail, the performances, the atmosphere.
And you can feel the pride. People have been doing this for generations.
And then you get the smaller places.
The villages.
Yes, like Cartema.
Ooh, I love this one.
It's very different, you know?
Because it's not just a procession, it's a ritual.
Yeah, the whole village comes together. They build this space. And then there's the burning of Judas.
It feels ancient, like something much older than the week itself.
And then it flips from something symbolic into a celebration.
Music, dancing, people together. It's like the release after everything.
And I think that's what you start to see when you move around this week.
It's not one story.
No, it's lots of versions of the same story, depending on where you are.
And each one feels real because it belongs to that place.
So if Malaga feels too big or too crowded, it's worth stepping out.
Yes, even just for a day, you see a completely different side of it.
And sometimes you understand it better out there than in the city.
And then you come back and everything makes a little more sense.
Malaga Radio.
All right, so we've got the traditions, the processions, the theater, but there's another side to this week that sits just alongside it, a bit quieter, a bit more refined. Let's talk about the cultural layer, because there's some very different experiences happening at the same time.
After everything happening in the streets, sometimes you just want to step into something a little more contained.
Yes, somewhere you can actually sit down and watch something properly without moving every 5 minutes.
And this week, there's a very clear moment for that. Saturday evening, the Corrida Picasiana.
Exactly. And that's at the Plaza de Toros, La Malagueta, right in Malaga City. Starts around 6 in the evening.
And this isn't just a traditional bullfight. It's designed, inspired by Picasso.
Yes, the staging, the costumes, even the whole atmosphere inside. It feels more like a cultural performance than a sporting event.
And you sit there after a full day in the streets and everything slows down. You just watch.
And that's what makes it work this week. It gives you structure, a clear start time, a seat, a different kind of focus.
And then, if you want something completely different, something calm, you go in the opposite direction.
Yeah, out of the center, up towards the botanical gardens.
The Jardín Botánico La Concepción, just outside Malaga, and this week is perfect for it.
Yes, because everything is in bloom now, especially the wisteria, which only lasts a short time.
And if you go in the morning, it's quiet. You can walk through slowly, no crowds.
Exactly. And that's important this week because by mid-afternoon, the city becomes very full.
Yes, this is your escape before it all begins again.
You remember we went early before heading back into Malaga.
And everything felt softer afterwards, like we could actually enjoy the evening properly.
Yes, it resets the day.
And even along the coast, you feel a different kind of culture this week.
Right, especially around Marbella, where everything is a bit more polished, a bit more curated.
The tail end of the Marbella Design and Art Week, you still feel it in the spaces, the galleries, the atmosphere.
Yes, even though the main event has just finished, it leaves gives that impression, that sense of design and detail everywhere.
It's a quieter way of experiencing the week, but still very connected to it.
And I think that's the key with culture this week.
You don't replace what's happening in the streets. You step away from it for a moment.
Exactly, just enough to breathe. Then you go back in.
And if you're looking for a few more cultural ideas this week,
Yes, here are a few to keep in mind.
the Collectors Plant Fair in Parque de la Paloma, Benalmádena, running from the 3rd to the 5th. Beautiful park, very relaxed.
And good for families as well. Plenty of space, very different atmosphere from the city center.
Guided visits and walks through the botanical gardens, especially if you want something more structured.
And also just the museums in Malaga, the Picasso Museum, the Alcazaba, best done in the mornings this week before everything builds.
So you've got options, something structured, something calm, something visual.
All right, so once you've stepped out of the crowds and taken in something a bit quieter, there's one thing you can't avoid this week because everywhere you go, you start noticing the food.
Malaga Radio.
You start to notice it quite quickly this week. You're walking through the streets, following a procession, and then suddenly there's food everywhere.
Yes, and not in a planned way. It just appears small stands, bakeries, people carrying things as they walk.
And the smell, it's always something sweet first.
Exactly. And that's usually torrijas. You see them everywhere this week.
Thick slices of bread, soaked, fried, covered in honey, a little bit messy, but perfect.
And you don't really sit down for it. That's the thing. You're eating while moving between one street and the next.
It becomes part of the rhythm. You follow something, you stop, you eat, and then you carry on again.
Yes, and sometimes quite late. You think you've finished for the night, and then you see another bakery open.
And you go again.
And in the morning, it flips completely.
Yes, churros.
Exactly. Churros and chocolate, what they call the brotherhood breakfast.
After a long night, it's the reset. Something warm, something simple.
And you see everyone doing the same thing, still slightly tired, but ready to start again.
And then, if you want something a bit more local, a bit more specific, you go slightly outside Malaga,
Yes, Vélez Malaga is a good example.
the Acobacalao route.
Exactly. And that's running throughout the week across different bars in the town.
And this one is different because it's not sweet.
No, it's savory, made with cod, garlic, olive oil, almost like a pate.
And it has a story. It was made to give strength to the people carrying the processions.
Yes, which makes sense when you see how long those days are.
And you can spend a whole afternoon there, moving from place to place, trying different versions.
Exactly. And it's slower, much slower than Malaga City, which is sometimes exactly what you need.
And then, if you really want to step away, you go inland.
Casa Bermeja.
Yes, the spring gastronomy days, right at the start of the week.
And this is more of a full experience, not just one dish.
Traditional recipes, goat, vegetables, olive oil, everything very local.
And the pace changes completely. You sit down properly, you take your time.
It feels connected to the land, not just the week.
Yes, and it's a good contrast, especially if you've been in the city for a couple of days.
Because that's the thing with food this week. It follows you wherever you go.
Exactly. City, coast, villages. It just changes slightly depending on where you are.
And if you're looking for a few more easy food ideas this week,
Here are a few to keep in mind.
Estepona's Ruta de la Tapa, finishing at the start of the week. Small plates, a drink, a few euros, very easy to enjoy.
You'll also see buñuelos and pestiños everywhere, especially in bakeries. Quick, sweet, very traditional.
and on Easter Sunday, everything shifts again. Long lunches, coastal restaurants, people celebrating together.
And in Malaga itself, just follow the streets. You'll find caramel apples, coconut slices, small things you eat as you move.
You don't really need a plan for food this week.
No, it finds you.
And somehow, it always arrives at exactly the right moment.
So once you've eaten and slowed things down for a moment, the energy shifts again because as the week builds, the sound starts to change.
Malaga Radio.
And then, just when you think the week is all about tradition, everything changes again.
Yes, and you feel it quite quickly, especially as the weekend gets closer, the energy shifts, the sound changes, people start moving differently.
Because the coast wakes up.
Exactly. And this is really the moment where you realize summer is starting to arrive.
And one of the biggest signals of that is Marbella.
Yes, specifically the beach clubs. And this week is when they begin to open again.
Nikki Beach, from the 2nd to the 5th of April, their big opening weekend.
And that's during the day, usually from around midday into the early evening. So it fits perfectly around everything else happening.
And it's beautiful. All white and gold, music, performances, people dressed up.
And it's a completely different atmosphere to the city. More relaxed, more international, but still very much part of the week.
You can spend the morning in Malaga and then be there in the afternoon.
Exactly. And that contrast is what makes it interesting. You move from something very traditional into something very modern in the same day.
And then, just along the coast, Puerto Banús.
Now, pool club.
Yes, opening on the 2nd of April with a big daytime event.
And that one is more music-led, house music, international DJs, quite high energy, and it really sets the tone for the season.
It feels like the first proper day of summer.
Yes, even if it's only the beginning, you can feel that shift immediately.
And then, back in Malaga, there's something else happening.
Yes, and this is a good alternative if you don't want to leave the city.
Brunch electronic.
Exactly, that's on Saturday the 4th, starting around 6 in the evening and running into the night.
Outdoors, big sound, lots of people.
Yes, and importantly, it's away from the historic center, so you're not fighting with the processions, it's its own space.
And it feels lighter, more playful.
Exactly, it's designed to be social. People come for the music, but also just to be together.
And I like that because it gives you a break from the intensity.
Yes, it balances the week. You don't stay in one mood the whole time.
And if you want something smaller, something more intimate,
Then you go to Torremolinos.
The jazz club.
Yes, Clarence Jazz Club. They have live sessions across the week, blues, jazz, small performances.
and it's completely different. Dark room, close to the music.
Exactly. You sit down, you listen, and everything else disappears for a while.
And if you're looking for a few more ideas as the week builds,
Yes, here are a few to keep in mind.
Sunday brunch at beach clubs along the coast, especially on the 5th, relaxed music, food, and a softer end to the week.
Smaller live music sessions in Malaga's bars, especially away from the main routes. Good if you want something spontaneous after the processions.
Evening drinks in the old town squares. Not an event, but part of the atmosphere. Music, people, everything blending together.
And late night walks along the promenade, especially in Marbella, you still hear music drifting from the beach clubs.
So whether you want something big or something quiet,
You'll find it quite easily this week.
You just follow the sound.
And if you need a break from all of that, from the crowds, the music, the movement, there's one more option. Something completely different.
Malaga Radio.
And this is where the week opens up again, because if you've had enough of the crowds or just want to move a bit, there's so much happening outside the city.
Yes, and this is the best time of year for it. The weather is perfect, not too hot, everything is green, and you can actually enjoy being active without it feeling like hard work.
Excited. And the big one, if you're here and you haven't done it yet,
Caminito del Rey.
yes, and this week especially, it looks incredible.
It's about an hour from Malaga near Ardales, and you need to book in advance, but it's worth it. The walk takes you along suspended paths over 100 meters above the river.
And the views, the cliffs, the water, everything feels so big.
Yes, and it's not just the height, it's the scale of the gorge. The walls go up hundreds of meters, and you're right in the middle of it.
It's one of those experiences you remember.
Exactly, and this week it's even better because the light is softer and the landscape is still fresh from the winter rains.
And then if you want something more natural, more quiet,
You go further into the mountains.
Tolox, the waterfalls.
Yes, in the Sierra de las Nieves, and this is peak time for it, the waterfalls are full, the trails are green, and it's much less crowded than the coast.
And it feels completely different from the city.
Exactly, it's about an 11-kilometer walk, so you need to be prepared, but the reward is worth it, especially when you reach the main waterfall.
You can actually hear the water before you see it.
Yes, and once you're there, you realize how quiet everything else is.
And then something a little easier.
Rhonda.
Yes, because you get both, walking and culture together.
Exactly. You can do the Tajo del Abanico route, which takes you just outside the town into the gorge and then come back up into the old town.
And the views are incredible.
Yes, and it's manageable. You don't need a full day. You can do it in a few hours and still have time to explore the town.
It feels like a complete day out.
And if you want something even more social,
Marbella again?
yes, padel.
Of course.
There are sessions running all week, especially in the mornings, and it's a good way to meet people. You don't need to be very good. It's more about the experience.
And it's very Costa del Sol.
Exactly. Sport, sun, and a bit of socializing at the same time.
And if you're up early enough,
The Run Club,
Yes. Saturday morning, Marbella Promenade around 7 o'clock.
5 kilometers along the coast, very relaxed. You can run or walk, and it's a nice way to start the day before everything else begins.
The light in the morning is beautiful.
Yes, and it's quiet, which is rare this week.
and if you want a few more outdoor ideas this week,
Yes, here are some easy ones to add in.
Dolphin watching from Soto Grande, especially this time of year, you often see them close to the boats.
Boat trips along the coast, short 2-hour sails, very easy to fit into a day.
walks along the coastal promenades, Malaga, Marbella, Estepona, simple but very effective.
And guided hikes in the Sierra de las Nieves if you want something more structured and a bit more challenging.
So whether you want something active or just a little movement,
You have options everywhere this week.
You just need to step outside.
And once you've done that, once you've seen both sides of it, the city and everything around it, you start to understand what this week really is.
Malaga Radio.
And that's the week, or at least the parts of it we think will help you find your way through it.
Yes, because this is one of those weeks where you don't really follow a plan, you experience it as it unfolds and you adjust as you go.
And even if you're not religious, it's still something you should see.
Exactly, because what you're watching is not just tradition, it's community. Families who have been part of this for generations, carrying those floats year after year.
You can feel that, the history, the pride, the emotion, it stays with you.
Yes, and once you understand that even a little, the whole week makes much more sense.
And alongside that, everything else is starting to open up.
Exactly, the coast, the food, the outdoor life, it's all beginning again, and this is really the moment where the season starts to turn.
So take your time, move between it all, and find your own rhythm this week.
And if you want to explore more, everything we've mentioned and a lot more is on malagaradio.net. That's where you can browse places, events, and start building your own plan.
And for more listening, all our podcasts are on malagaradio.com.
Yes, from active adventures, if you want to get out and move, to towns in focus, if you want to explore different areas along the coast.
And of course, freshly squeezed.
Every morning from 8 to 11, where we'll guide you through the day, step by step.
You can listen live on malagaradio.com.
Download the app.
Or just ask Alexa.
And if you want to go deeper into this week, don't forget the Semana Santa Special.
It will change how you see everything around you.
All right, that's it from us.
Have a beautiful week. Enjoy it.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Malaga Radio.